I have noticed that I got scared recently. I just like a general discomfort with feeling close to someone.
Yeah,
for sure, because of my past trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
And like kind of this like underlying belief that it's hard to pinpoint, but I think that there's like this tiny aspect of me that feels like love or connection somehow leads eventually to pain.
Oof. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on. I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice. We are breakup coaches, here to help you beat your breakup,
heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of X-Files. We are so glad that you are here. We hope that you enjoyed last week's episode, Am I Settling? And this week we're flipping the script. We're going to talk about being too picky. Before we dive into it, we just want to remind everybody, if you like this episode, if you liked the last episode, if you have a favorite X-Files episode, or if we've generally been helping you with your breakup, it would be amazing if you would go leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and let us know. And with that, let's get into it.
All right. So last week we spoke about settling in relationships, what that looks like, how to know if you're doing it. We're flipping things around this week to talk about another common dating question, which is, am I too picky? It's like the flip side.
Yep. If you're recovering from a breakup, you could be asking yourself this. If you're struggling with regret over ending things and second guessing your decision, thinking, was I too picky in that relationship? Or if the relationship fell apart because one of you was unhappy, you could be wondering if you should have been more accepting of certain things. I have totally done that. Absolutely, like second guessing myself. And you might just be listening to this episode because you're dating, you're single, and you'd rather not be. And you're wondering if your selection criteria is to blame. So regardless of the reason, we hope that you enjoyed this discussion. And with that, let's get into it. So I thought we would start by talking about partner selection. And I thought this might be a good place to begin because I think some people might worry about being too picky because they are focused more on what they can get out of the relationship or the person rather than what they can put into it.
According to Hal Shorey, who's writing for Psychology Today, in his experience as a therapist, he noticed that when asked why people chose their partner, most clients respond with statements of their own needs and how their partner could fulfill them. So examples of this needs-based choosing include because she loves me, because he is a great provider, because she takes care of my needs. Shorey suggests that pursuing relationships out of a desire to give rather than receive is a healthier way of selecting someone and refers to this as secure-based choosing. He says, examples of this type of secure-based choosing include because she's a beautiful person, because I want to give myself to them, because I want to love and cherish her, so on.
This type of choosing is based in love as something to be given rather than a need to be met. This type of self-actualized, secure-based choosing is a value-added proposition, whereas needs-based choosing takes away from the other person and comes out of a sense of lack and a belief in scarcity. And that is a quote from Dr. Shorey. Of insecure attachment styles and selection, Shorey states, people with insecure attachment styles, at least before they heal themselves, often come to relationships with unmet needs. Those with dismissing styles may have a need for unconditional love and validation. Those with preoccupied styles may have a need for a high level of consistency in their partners providing love and reassurance. Those with fearful attachment styles may need foremost a sense of trust, safety, and security. So, Claire, I know that you know a lot about attachment styles. What do you think about attachment and being too picky?
I think when you have when you're on the spectrum that is moving slightly away from secure attachment, I think that leaves room for you to be more picky about your partners, because you're looking for red flags. You're on the high alert when you have like an anxious attachment style. You're like, oh, I felt like they didn't text me as many times today as they usually did, so they must not love me anymore. Like I need
Like
self-sabotage.
I need someone who is more present. Could be something that someone an anxious could say.
Exactly. And someone on the avoidance scale might say, you know what, they have too many needs. They're impacting my freedom. I can't do this. They're not the right person for me. Instead of looking for, you know, okay, this person meets like my values as a person and someone that I'm looking for in those respects. I'm willing to work on my self-growth to come to meet them where they are as well, or meet in the middle more. So, you know, I think we all have some element of unhealthy attachment styles, because we've all, you know, had some sort of trauma in childhood of some degree. So like this is a good question to ask. Am I being too picky? Because no one is perfect, right? I think last week we talked about, you know, like if someone isn't fulfilling certain needs that you have, then, you know, yeah, you might be settling. But I think part of that conversation, and I think we touched on it a little bit when you were saying, you know, the person you're dating right now doesn't eat any vegetables and he doesn't cook. Those, you know, are imperfections, right? But they're not like values-based needs that you have. So, you know, as someone who might be wondering, am I too picky? They'd be like, he doesn't eat any vegetables. I can't be with this person, even though everything else is there, you know?
Rather than, you know, thinking about like, what can I give to him and why do I want to give it?
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
what this is talking about, more of a secure based.
The secure based attachment. That's good. So let's now talk about another reason you may feel too picky. And that is that you are going out with the wrong person, the wrong people in the first place, and perhaps not being discerning or intentional enough during your selection process. Oof. This can lead to continuing to make the same mistakes with partners or potential partners, leading to confusion about why things never work out or why you're so often left unsatisfied, which may end up with you wondering if you're too picky, when in reality, you're just continuing to go for people that you're incompatible with. Like,
like if you date the same person, you know, over and over again, yes, you might be unsatisfied over and over again.
Yeah. This is akin to continuing to date only your type, quote unquote. And you may think that you're dating your type because you're picky and because you have high standards, but your type may be leading you to play out the same patterns over and over again because you're dating people that have so many similar qualities.
Yes. So discernment and intentional dating can look like swiping on people who are a maybe and getting to know them, chatting with them before deciding to go out with them or not. So I know some people on the apps, for instance, will only date on people who have like certain physical characteristics. When I was on the apps for a short amount of time recently, I swiped on people who I was like, I could kind of go either way. If they said something in their bio that I thought was cool and decent, and I thought their photos were all right, I would swipe on them.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was great. I met some really cool people. If I would have stayed on the apps, I would have kept going with that strategy because it really worked for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It can also look like dating someone who is not your type physically because you have great chemistry with them. I mean, how many times have you had just a great conversation with someone who you weren't necessarily physically attracted to? I say that, I mean, I think conversation should be taken a lot more seriously or valued a lot more when it comes to dating, rather than just physicality.
Yeah. Also, like going back to the pictures thing, some people just are not photogenic or they just don't know their angles. And so, their photos, you're like, meh. And then you meet them in person and you're like, wow, you are gorgeous.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
So,
you're so right. And I know, speaking as a woman who dates men, I think maybe some dudes just aren't really aware of photos and if they look good in them or not.
They're like, yes, because that's my
they
face.
Don't care.
I will post that. Right. They don't care. They're like, that's what I look like, I think.
And on the flip side of this, some women, will take 100 photos and pick, the one. Yeah. And then maybe you'll meet her in person and she doesn't look as good
quite
as the photos.
Same. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I am all about the maybes in dating, including what we're going to talk. I think I put this on the list. Maybe I didn't. So if you go on a first date with someone and it's a maybe for a second date, then I say that's a yes for a second
It's
date.
a yes. Yeah. At least on that second date.
I was in a clubhouse room. Yes. Yeah, completely. I mean, you can't know everything on the first date.
Yeah.
And if you had a good conversation, I say schedule something.
Exactly.
I did my clubhouse room the other day and we were asked to go around and give like our top dating tip or one of our top dating tips. And that was what I said. I said, go for the short first date, see if you have a good conversation with the person. And if you have a good conversation and you feel like it's a maybe, then go for the second date.
Yeah. Yeah. First date is
it's a winning strategy.
Yeah. First date is just a vibe check. Like it's just like, would I hang out with this person again?
Yes. But if you're really picky, you might be like, well, it wasn't fireworks or
it was friend
like
vibes.
Thing.
There was no chemistry. Like, we got along, but it felt more platonic. Like those are all like, I think indications you should go for a second date.
Yes, agreed completely. So discernment and intentional dating might also look like going slow in dating to see how your relationship with a person evolves before getting too serious. You really need time to think about stuff in between seeing someone. It can also look like dating someone who has a background that is different from other people you have gone out with.
Yeah.
So again, not just sticking to one type and getting a full range. I think it'll help you to make better decisions.
I agree. So another cause of being too picky or worrying about being too picky is having a fear of intimacy. Hello.
I've struggled with this a little bit and I find it such a fascinating topic.
Yeah. Fear of intimacy is defined by Carol J. DeSchutner and Mark H. Thelen in their paper, Development and Validation of a Fear of Intimacy Scale, as the inhibited capacity of an individual because of anxiety to exchange thought and feelings of personal significance with another individual who is highly valued. Yeah, I think a lot of us have probably been there.
But people don't talk about this a lot. People are mostly talking about really wanting to be in relationships, but we don't talk about how scared so many of us are with intimacy.
Yeah.
And I do have, I always test for having secure attachment. And I think that I do. I'm great with communication. I think I attract good people, but I have noticed that I got scared recently. I just like a general discomfort with feeling close to someone.
Yeah,
for sure. Because of my past trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
And like kind of this like underlying belief that it's hard to pinpoint, but I think that there's like this tiny aspect of me that feels like love or connection somehow leads eventually to pain.
Oof. Oh my goodness.
I know. It's like this deep belief that's in there that I have because of, having bad breakups and, abuse and parents who, aren't that caring.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm
I
just thinking
know.
of this Laura Marling song, New Romantics. You can't find it anywhere now because, Taylor Swift released a song called New Romantics. So I think she bought the rights to using the name
Interesting.
everywhere.
Damn. Okay.
But it's like I could never love a man because I could never hurt a man, is one of the lines. And that's very much like love leads to just getting eventually heartbroken. And I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a reason not to do it anyway. I mean, because when you play it out, like someone's gonna die first, even if you. This is depressing.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You're going to be heartbroken eventually, even if
Yes.
you get the fairy tale happy ending.
Well,
So
that's why we have this podcast, is because it's a normal part of life, really. Yeah, relationships end, but I think some people
relationships
try to
end.
avoid that
Yeah.
so much and maybe being picky and sabotaging things before they get off the ground.
Yeah, because like if you're in control of the ending of relationships, then it's a little bit better than not being in control of the ending of relationship.
Yep. I can relate.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will relate as well. So
We have loved creating free and accessible healing resources for people around the world who are looking for support on their breakups, broken hearts, and moving on journeys. Each day, we receive DMs from many of you who have let us know the positive impact X-Files is making in your life. Our vision for the second year of our show is something that we both feel so completely. We are looking forward to continuing to share useful resources each week, but also expanding our offerings to help people go more deeply with their healing and growth.
part of our vision is expanding the connection with our community. And to do that, we are thrilled to be launching the X-Files Patreon. Growing this aspect of our community will allow us to keep creating great content for everyone each week and also start developing even more healing resources and support. We would love for you to be part of the first group of the X-Files patrons. So head to the link in the show notes now to sign up for either the $5 or the $10 level. And we will both be looking forward to connecting with you very soon. This fear of intimacy is characterized by sabotaging relationships, a history of short relationships, perfectionism in yourself and in others, and an inability to express your wants and needs, trust issues. That's a big one. You got that one on your bingo card. Self-imposed social isolation and insatiable sexual appetite.
I know we're not here to talk about this, but isn't that interesting?
It is really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, for a lot of people, like, sex is a safe place to have, like, shallow intimacy with someone. It's like you can't have a deep conversation about like your feelings or defining the relationship, but you're like, sex is where I get my intimacy because it's like,
that's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels
so
good.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And
to me as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, in the past I've had a hard time connecting on more of an emotional level with the same people who I like, cannot
have great sex
stop
with.
having sex with. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. There are several causes of having a fear of intimacy, including childhood neglect, relationship trauma or abuse, fear of rejection, personality disorders, and previous bad breakups. It can be hard to spot and is something that a lot of people aren't even aware of. It is just one possible answer to your feelings of being too picky, but it's something to explore. And this may be the perfect topic for another episode, especially because of my personal experience with it. But for now, if you think you might be coping with a fear of intimacy, you may want to reflect on the last few times that you felt yourself getting close to someone and what made you walk away. This could be really great for journaling and can help you uncover fears that you have around letting someone into your life.
Another reason you may find that you're often ending things after feeling unsatisfied or discontent is that you haven't actually ever taken the time to figure out what you actually want in a relationship. And therefore your selection process is failing you, basically.
It could be, like a subconscious thing, like you're going after what you don't want because you don't consciously know what you want.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to figure out what it is that you do want, because otherwise you may be going for like what society tells you a good partner would be, but you're not society. Like, you're gonna have needs that aren't in the checklist that we're given by Disney, like
Totally.
Yeah.
A lot of people want companionship for companionship's sake and don't take the time to think about what they want a relationship to actually look like. I read several articles and blog posts on this exact topic, and I did actually land on another Bustle blog post. They have such great content sometimes. And this blog post was titled 7 Ways to Figure Out What You Really Want in Your Love Life by Susanna Weiss. Okay. She has 7 tips, and I thought they were really great. So how to figure out what you want, Claire?
All right. The 7 tips. Think about your values. Ask yourself what's made you happy in the past. So, all those failed relationships were good things because they were teaching you what makes you happy and what makes you not happy. Next, ask yourself what hasn't worked. So, you've collected your data. Let's analyze it. Then take time for yourself. This is really important. You need time and space and like being alone in order to process the information that you've gathered. If you're in a relationship, periodically take time by yourself to assess it. Many people assume that you need a separation or a break in order to reassess and figure yourself out, but separation or break is really not necessary unless there's something seriously concerning you about your relationship, says psychotherapist Julia Colangelo, licensed clinical social worker. Her advice: slow down, step back, and first reflect on your current relationship. Reflect on what kind of relationship you've always imagined having and notice the difference between the two.
It's so important, just go slow with people, take days off. And then when you have the day off, instead of just missing them all day long, like actually think about what is happening, journal about it, talk to your friends about it, talk with the person about it. And reflect. Okay, there's 2 more ways.
2 more. Or wait, 3 more. All right. Third to last, make a list. So this is where we keep bringing up that list of needs, wants, and desires. You can add traits in there, relationship dynamics, boundaries. This is like you writing down what this person would be like if you could design them yourself, right? And it can be a really fun and eye-opening exercise. Are you finding that you're having a hard time making any of these lists we keep mentioning? This might be a great sign that this is a comfort level you should push past, because it might be useful to get to know yourself and your needs a bit more before you dive into dating and you get kind of like lost in the flow of it all. Yeah.
You need to know what you want and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
I like to ask my clients when they tell me they want to date again, I like to just ask them why
Why?
and see what they say. And so, some people know and are ready and say it's going to be fun and have things to offer and want to meet new people.
Yeah.
Some people are a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And if you don't even know why you're doing it, maybe take a little bit more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think people do it because they just think they're supposed to, or they have to, or there's something wrong with them if they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they're just like, lonely and bored,
Yes.
and they're not recognizing it really as boredom, maybe because they're like,
Yeah.
I mean, of course I'm bored. I'm sitting at home by myself, not doing anything. And it's like, that's the problem. You got to do some stuff. You got to entertain yourself. All right. So second to last, meet lots of people. We are big supporters of like having varied relationship experiences, varied dating experiences, lots of people from lots of walks of life, lots of varieties of people, all of the types. So, experiment and go outside your type, and then lastly, listen to your anxiety. We're not telling you to just ignore your feelings all the time. Like, if something feels off or if there's a nagging bad feeling about someone, you are allowed to listen to that. It's reflecting on it later that may help you identify, like, hey, like, what was that? How can I learn from that and start to identify what I desire in relationships because of that experience? So, like, yeah, like your intuition and your feelings are valid. I think we're just saying to push past the kind of maybe like more neutral feelings where you're like, I don't feel anything. I just feel friendship vibes with this person. Like, yeah, go on a second date. That sort of thing. We're not saying, hey, if for months and months you are like, this is not the right relationship for me, you should listen to that.
And also maybe reflect on what exactly it is. And then you can try to avoid that in future relationships rather than continuing to play it out and then thinking that you're too picky because you're just playing the same thing out over and over. All right. So figure out what you want first before you start dating. Another reason you may feel that you are too picky and that people are constantly falling short is that you are looking for someone to complete you. This is a very, very common drive for people in our society. I mean, people actually say of their relationships, this person completes me, of course. So we're hearing it all of the time, and we think that that's what relationships are. But as we talk about often on this podcast, wanting a relationship because you think it will make you happy, feel complete, cure your loneliness, satisfy a timeline, or put the finishing touch on your life is not a healthy foundation for said relationship.
Yeah. It's also not realistic. Like, no one can complete you. This is a personal journey. A relationship can add joy to your life, but it cannot create your life. Like, your life exists already. This is someone who, like, maybe is a catalyst for you, or maybe just like together it's even better, but like you were fine apart. That's what we're shooting for here. So, as discussed in our settling episode, it's too big of a burden and too much responsibility for your partner to put that onus of you must complete me all the time, every day for the rest of our lives. Like, that's crazy. So therefore, they're always going to fall short of this expectation that you put on them. And you may stay in a cycle of constantly wondering if you're ending relationships because of being too picky, if that's a cycle you've been in where you set these extreme expectations, people obviously fall short, you move on with your life, and you realize, like, oh, maybe they were actually great for me. I just, they just couldn't meet this one extreme unrealistic expectation that I had.
This is why I have such a problem with women who only want to date men of a certain height.
Yeah.
I find that to be on in the too picky arena, but that's just
Yeah.
me. I mean, I know that this isn't, necessarily something that women think completes them,
Yeah.
but I think it's a little unrealistic, and also it's just like eliminating so many possibilities for good connections with good men.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think our physical attributes, they are not like they don't last a lifetime. They don't like signify who you are as a person. That like you only dated over 6 foot because you wanted to be like a foot shorter than your partner, and then 5 years
Has
in they
nothing to do with how he's going to treat you.
exactly. And then, say he gets into an accident, he's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, like then his height really doesn't matter. So you better like that person.
I'm
Not
trying not
just
to laugh because I don't want to be insensitive.
it is,
You're totally
like
right. Then
I'm
he's
really,
shorter than you.
yeah. It's really, like you I know I've been really dark today saying your partner's gonna die and you're gonna be in a wheelchair, and like it's really awful, so I'm really sorry.
I just want to say something, and we don't have to put this in, but do you know who Sean Bradley is?
No.
Going back to basketball again. So he's a Mormon actually, and he played for the 76ers, and he was 7 fucking feet tall. He
Yeah.
was so huge. He happened to go on the same mission as my grandparents. So I
Oh.
kind of, and he was enormous. Anyways, yeah, he recently got into an accident, and he's
Oh
in a wheelchair
no.
now, and
Oh.
his wife is having to take care of him, and
Yeah, and she's
yeah.
like, "Fuck."
He ain't 7 feet no more.
No. Yeah, and like that's the point, is that we want you to be in a relationship where things like that don't matter. And that's
Yeah,
why like
yeah.
height and how much money someone makes, like they can lose their job, like, or like you can, even if you have tons of investments and stuff, you can lose it all, like, so
Mhm.
you have to choose your partner wisely based on factors that aren't things that are you know um can be taken away, I
Yeah,
guess.
like I guess superficial factors.
Superficial. That's it. There you
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
Superficial. So we want you guys to have official relationships.
Official relationships.
Or super relationships. We want you to have super relationships. Let's go that way. So, all right. So, some similar dynamics to wanting someone who completes you is to want the fairy tale ending, to believe in the one, and having all or nothing thinking. So, I definitely relate to this. I see myself as being kind of a black and white thinker, a
Mhm.
moral perfectionist, if you will. And that's something like I continue to work on to this
Mhm.
day. So,
Another related mindset that might lead to being too picky or worrying that you are too picky is wanting or expecting nothing but fireworks, and or walking away after the honeymoon phase ends. The honeymoon phase is one of our favorite topics. This would be on the bingo card if you're, or in the X-Files drinking game, would probably be talking about the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase is defined as the falling in love or infatuation stage of any relationship. And most experts agree that it lasts 6 months to 2 years. During this time, we feel enormous amounts of chemistry. Many couples want or have sex with each other constantly, and we idealize each other. It is the euphoric state that feels so good in new relationships. However, it is temporary. And the next phase is the settling in of a relationship, which, while it has its own perks, it's often not as exciting. It certainly is not what we would call euphoric. Says one of my favorite relationship experts, Gary Chapman, falling in love is the easy part. Maintaining that love is where it gets tricky. Once the initial honeymoon phase of infatuation is over, love requires hard work to thrive. Chapman often states that this is when his concept of the 5 love languages comes in handy, because it involves a conscious effort to keep the spark alive by going out of our way to make our partner happy. And stay tuned, because Claire and I are doing an upcoming episode on love languages.
Love languages. Yes. So losing the spark or the euphoria can be very scary for some people. And some people will continue to chase that feeling by moving from relationship to relationship to relationship. So yes. Knowing what you want out of a relationship will help you be objective about the changing phases in the relationship and adjust rather than flee. And I think it's not just the movement from the honeymoon phase to the regular sort of everyday phase, but there's also like a power struggle phase where there's, you're kind of figuring out where the compromises are in the relationship, and things can go 4 ways. They create like once the honeymoon phase ends, you can go into a period where you're each offering each other stability and security. You can also develop a power struggle based on attempts to connect. So you have the pursuer and the distancer, like the push-pull dynamic.
Oh my God,
be the power
totally.
struggle. There can also be a power struggle based on shame. So like one person is fearful and one person is shameful. And also on punishment. So like one person is demanding things and the other person is withdrawing, and it's like 2 different types of punishment to the other person. So
I am absolutely loving this. I want a book or something. I need to learn more. I don't know anything about that. I've never heard this, I don't think.
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll do this in another episode.
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, I'm like genuinely going to go and see if there's like a book or something.
Yay.
All right. Thanks,
awesome.
Claire.
Yay. I'm so glad.
And I guess a lot of people, I mean, look, I haven't had a history of short relationships. I have had some long ones, and then I've had many short ones. So I get maybe I do have a history of short relationships, but I know that I have in the past chased the high.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Totally. And when you're young and stuff, especially, like, of course.
And also my pattern is that for whatever reason, I still don't know exactly why, but I tend to attract men who just like pursue so hard.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling. And I know that it's not a healthy pattern, because that does not necessarily lead to healthy relationships. But it's just something that I've noticed about myself that I do.
Yeah. You're like, chase me.
I think it has something to do with my Mormon background and, issue, some of my experiences at BYU and feeling undesired for a short amount of time. I don't know. It's complex, but I do know that I kind of chase that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of factors too, you know. So knowing what you want out of a relationship can help you to be objective about the changing phases in a relationship and adjust rather than just fleeing.
Right. So if you're only chasing the high rather than chasing what you want out of a person, then when you have that transition, you can be objective about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is being too picky a sign that you are not ready for a relationship? So there are many reasons why a person might not be prepared to connect intimately with someone, including you have some attachment wounds to heal. You've got fear of intimacy to work on. Those can be totally linked. Unprocessed trauma keeps getting triggered by relationships, and you need to like process that. You have a lack of boundaries. So going into a relationship would be really overwhelming and hard for you. Your relationship with yourself might benefit from some attention. Like maybe you don't really know yourself yet.
Yeah. You'll never pick someone who's good for you if you don't love yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, you might have a lack of clarity about what it is that you actually want out of a relationship. So, if you're struggling to connect with people and finding that you're now turning the blame onto yourself, you may want to consider taking a break from dating to do you. And if you do this intentionally and you're proactive about your self growth and discovery, you might find that you enter dating next time with a lot more satisfaction.
Yes. Yeah. Take a break, like figure things out. I am just, kind of on fire about, my own single journey and everything that I gained from it. And I just wish that I could tell everybody or just like implore, the world to take, eliminate the need for a relationship from your life for a little while, because you really can gain so much. And if you're just wondering if you're too picky and finding that relationships just aren't working out, maybe there's something, underlying that you could really benefit to work on. So we do talk about this a lot. I just want to remind you some of the benefits of being intentionally single. There are so many. You know what? I should make a list, because I did this post yesterday about everything that I gained, and I had to stop myself. I think I listed like 7 things that I gained, but I was like, well, I can only make this post so long. But I think actually I should go in my journal and just keep on compiling the list and see how long I can make it, because it was just life-changing. So some of the benefits: you strengthen your confidence, you become radically self-reliant, you learn more about self-care. When you're single and you have to provide that for yourself, you get such a good relationship with self-care and learn what makes you happy. So, I'm just thrilled about it. You increase your level of self-trust, you overcome loneliness, you learn what you want out of relationships. And this is romantic and non-romantic. One of the big takeaways that I had from being single for so long was that I actually learned more what I wanted out of my friendships, and also out of like what I wanted from like family members. That I gained so much more clarity around that I think I've ever had. And it was great.
Interesting. Yeah.
I know. You wouldn't think that would be a benefit or an outcome, but it has been for sure. And of course, you learn to call all of the shots in your life. So I think that if you're struggling with wondering if you're too picky, this is turning into like a self-blame thing. And maybe you need to just reevaluate, other things about your life.
So, in conclusion, just like with not settling, we feel that you should have everything you want in your relationships. And wanting to leave a relationship is as good of a reason as any to end one. And if you're walking away for reasons you feel are valid, then they are valid. So, you are welcome to be like, you know what? I don't think I'm being too picky. This is not my person. Great. That's amazing. And there are going to be people that you're like, wow, this is like literally everything I've asked for, and they're not my person. Also fine.
Mm-hmm. And I don't really know how to articulate this, but I guess even if what you're doing could qualify as being too picky, it's still a reason to walk away, because clearly you're not ready for the relationship.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you gotta
if you're finding a reason to end something, even if it's a good relationship, if you're finding a reason to end it, then it's not meant to be. Right now.
Right now. And I think that's when, if you're confused on that decision, that's when you talk to a coach or a therapist, and you start like doing the work to like get into your own feelings about the situation, and actually like break it down and learn how to think about things in that way. And how to like get still and like listen to yourself. So
especially I think with the fear of intimacy, or having a background with trauma, that it really helps to talk it through with someone.
So at the same time, if you truly desire a relationship and believe that you have created a good foundation for one, and yet you find that you keep repeating the same pattern of being like disappointed and turned off when before or when you start to get close to someone, you know, there still may be some underlying issues that you may want to look at and stuff. So, you know, like if you find yourself in that repetitive situation, even though you're like, I'm ready for a relationship,
Right,
like let's go.
Mhm.
I mean, these are lifelong things. Like, I don't think you just arrive eventually at being, you know, a person who's figured themselves out. Like,
Oh,
it
it's so true.
continues.
Yeah. I mean, the two of us are the perfect example. You know, we're so self-aware and have done so much work on ourselves and still, you know,
Yeah.
have things that come up when we connect with people.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you're not in a vacuum anymore.
And I know I have some, girlfriends, for instance, who love dating, love going on first dates, have everything that you would think is, ready in their life for a relationship. And then after the first or second date, just crash and burn, crash and burn, crash and burn. And that's more what I'm saying with this. It's like, there's something to look at there.
Yeah.
When you're genuinely excited about dating, but it just keeps on not working out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially when I hear, friends and clients saying that it keeps on not working out, like for the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing from my clubhouse the other day, we had someone come on and ask a question about something that was continuing to happen in her life. And I got on and I said, the best way to break a pattern is to break it. Like, stop doing this shit. So, it takes a lot of self-reflection, I think, for people to do that.
Yeah. And, I think sometimes people are too flooded to be able to like do that in the moment. So,
especially when you're frustrated and, you don't have, all of the awareness and the tools that, some intentional people have. It's just really hard to get outside of the situation and look at maybe how you can take responsibility for it. Yeah, which I totally understand. But, people listening to this podcast, perhaps are a little more willing to do that. So do it.
That's true.
Partner selection and relationship satisfaction isn't something that there is a blanket answer for, but we do hope that these considerations help you as you continue to navigate dating, getting to know someone new, or enjoy your blissfully single life. You don't have to date, but if you want to, that's why we do these episodes, so that you can have fun doing it. And I had fun recording this episode, Claire.
Awesome. Yay.
I am heading off to LA this weekend to hang out with some of my date coaching friends. I am just absolutely thrilled. And with that, I will just remind everyone, Claire and I are available for one-on-one coaching. The best way to find us is to hit either or both of us up on Instagram, message us privately, message the X-Files account. We'll get in touch and we'd love to support you.
Awesome. Cool. So and then if you're not quite ready for coaching, but you'd like a little bit more support and to be able to like ask us questions and things like that, then go check out our Patreon. The link is in the description, and you can find it on Instagram as well. So and with that, we'll talk to your ears again very soon.
Hi everyone, good luck out there.
Thank you for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you liked this episode, please help others find us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or by following the show on Spotify.
And if you'd like to connect more with us and learn about breakup coaching, find us on Instagram at X-Files Podcast.